I have to say that when I did get this press release come through, I did have a WTF moment when it was when you actually start to read further through the article. Can I suggest for those who live their life by headlines that reading the bulk of the article is actually really good for your health because you don't go around spouting how wonderful things are. And I was definitely been going around clarifying the details of this one. It's not as rosy as it seems. 2,000 seasonal workers from the Pacific Islands are welcomed into New Zealand. The horticultural industry is taking them with open arms. However, they will have to be in isolation for 14 days from a COVID-free country. The employer will need to pay for that quarantine at over $4,700 and pay their wages for 2 weeks whilst in those isolation facilities to come here for fruit picking season. I may be wrong, and I hope I am wrong, letting our next guest put me right if not. Tim Jones, Chair of Summerfruit New Zealand, joins us now from Cromwell. Tim, I mean, it's very hard to be ungrateful for workers in this current environment, but it doesn't seem like it's stacking up, or am I wrong?
Yeah, I guess what we have to say for a start is that the industry welcomes the announcement from government.
Yeah.
The wider horticultural industry, it's going to be vital for helping New Zealand's COVID recovery from particularly the late summer and autumn harvests, you know, the apples and the kiwi fruit. I guess we have to say from a Summerfruit point of view, it's probably not coming in time to help us to the extent that we had hoped. But it is an important decision, not only for the harvest of New Zealand crops, but also for the remittances that go back to Pacific countries. It's a vital part in not only our economy, but their economy as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, 16,000 workers were expected. 2,000 was the number to be allowed in from mid-January onwards. I certainly know that cherries and even going into the apricots will be well underway by that point, Tim. So realistically, for the start of most of the summer fruit, it's not really going to make any difference at all.
I don't think this announcement will, but the work that the industry's been doing over the last 6 months or even longer, you know, I think back to when we first went into lockdown in March and sitting at the exact same table I'm sitting at now talking to you, thinking, gosh, what are we going to do for seasonal labour at the end of the year? And we've been really working on it for that length of time and putting the word out to attract the different cohorts of seasonal workers that will come and help out the summer fruit industry.
What about the government trying to incentivise Kiwis with a $1,000 payment and accommodation allowance for $200 a week as well? Is that having a flow-on effect? Are the orchardists seeing people turn up in their droves?
Yeah, look, we're getting far more inquiry from New Zealanders looking for work than we ever have had. And from our own business's point of view, in the past we might have had about 30% Kiwis looking for seasonal work. This year we're probably well in excess of 50%, even approaching 60%. So the announcement from Minister Cepoloni that people from outside the regions who are MSD clients and are looking to help out the industry and uptake the seasonal work, having access to accommodation allowances and a bonus for staying for 6 weeks is a great boost to us, particularly knowing that we don't have access to that RSE labour because it's not coming in until next year.
What are the conversations that you're happening in terms of the next stage? It's not obviously sit back and wait. There's certainly the flow-on effect after that as well. Is the dialogue, this is just the start?
I guess the environment we're in, it's not, we all hope it's a one season issue, but I don't know that it is. And I think we need to keep engagement with the various government agencies to work on solutions as we move forward. COVID has probably brought forward the conversation we need to have about seasonal labour. And I think as an industry we need to get round the table once we get through this season and provide some sustainable outcomes for our growers. And that really, I think, will involve trying to make the industry a whole lot more attractive, trying to make the seasonal work proposition for New Zealanders more attractive, because there is, even though it's short and sharp from a cherry point of view, but you can come down to Central Otago and you can do 6 or 7 months' work quite easily if you combine summerfruit, grapes, pipfruit, those sorts of things. So there's a whole thing that we can make happen.
And we had Nikki Johnson on Serious Country the other day, and the conversations with the Bay of Plenty as well, Tim. Is that a positive?
Yeah, there's synergies amongst the different regions and the different horticultural industries. We all need workers at different times. Grapes, for example, in Marlborough, their busy season is pruning in the winter. Kiwi fruit's obviously late autumn, and down in Central Otago, we have a real peak with our harvest. So we can all work in together, I think, and make this thing work.
Absolutely. What about, the elderly in their buses and camper vans? Are they coming back in droves as well?
They're always more than welcome. We employ a lot of those sort of people. It's great to see them. I hesitate to say, but we call them the grey Gypsies. They turn up every year, and they're a really reliable part of our workforce. They take some key positions, particularly in packhouse, rather than being out in the heat of the sun in the summer, and having those people come back year after year is really valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. And they certainly enjoy the company and going around in droves. I know that from my grandparents doing that for many seasons as well. I really want to turn now to the islands and the conversations that you're having with the communities over there. What type of economic blowback is it having over there, not having this income flowing into those communities?
I think it's really tough on them at the moment. We get a lot of our seasonal workers in the past from Vanuatu, the RSE men and women, and I think tourism is the number one industry in the islands, followed closely by seasonal labour. And so to have both hit on the head's been really tough. So the sooner that the scheme can get back up and running from their point of view to get those remittances back, the better they will be off, and it'll be a help to us as well. These guys, they come to New Zealand for 7 months out of every year, and they use the money for such important things, to set up businesses, to educate their children. And, it's vital we get it back up and running.
Tim, while I've got you there, how is the season looking?
Well, from a summerfruit point of view, I think we're running a little bit earlier than normal, although that'll slow things down. Cherries, normally we start to ease into it about mid-December and hit our peak in January. I think we'll be maybe 7 to 10 days before that this year, and that'll follow on closely with the apricots, peaches and nectarines in February and early March. And then, of course, the apple guys follow in behind with their autumn harvest.
I'm just actually on that RCEP, this Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, and this new rule book for China and Asia trade. Cherries, our export cherries into Asia is a huge market. How are some of those trade agreements going to have a positive effect on the future going forward for summerfruit?
Well, cherries are very popular right throughout Southeast Asia. It's not just, the big markets like China and Taiwan. They're our two biggest markets, but it's the emerging economies of Vietnam. Thailand's an important one for us, South Korea, Malaysia, Singapore. So anything that starts to deal with the trade barriers and makes it easier to get fruit through into our customers overseas is of great benefit to us.
Oh, thank you so much, Tim, for joining us at what is a very busy time at the moment down in Central Otago. Tim Jones from Summerfruit New Zealand joining us there.
This is Sarah's Country.